make my screen. I'm going to make a full screen now. Can you all see my screen? Okay. Now, if you notice, we don't have certificate services installed here. Is that not correct? Now, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to install certificate authority, and I'm going to change my my current certificate on my server now. It's a self-signed certificate. You know what self-signed means, right? Self-signed means a certificate that is self-generated. That is what is currently on my computer right now. But when I install my CA, I'm going to have a new certificate that I'm going to be having. Are we together? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to come to Tools. I'm going to go to Group Policy Management. I'll go to Group Policy Management. Okay, it's open here. So I'll expand my domain. And I'll go to my default domain policy. And I'll right click and I'll edit. So I'll go to policies. So go to Windows settings, then go to security settings. Then look for public key. You see public key policies there, right? Is that not correct? Now you notice you have file encryption policy there. Is that correct? Do you see file encryption policy? Yeah, if you notice there, if you double click on these policies here, you see the person who issued it is the administrator. Is that not correct? So it doesn't make sense, right? So this is what we call self-signed. Are you getting me? You say this if you notice here, it says this CA root certificate is not trusted because it's not a root CA authority store. Are you getting me? So this CA is actually self-signed. Are you getting me? Let me look at okay, there's no policy yet there. Just a minute. Trusted people. There's no CA there. There's no CA. So currently we only have certificates for what? For the administrator for what? For the file encrypting system, right? Because by default we're using file encrypting system, right? So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to try to delete that CA, that certificate. I'm going to delete that certificate, then I'm going to install the certificate authority for my server. And after I install it, I'm going to create encrypting file system certificates, a template. So there's a layers of steps I'm going to be following, but I'm going to explain everything for you guys, okay? So the next step I'm going to do now is to right click on this. Right click, and I will say export means that I want to export it if I want to make a copy just in case I want to retrieve it back. Are you getting me? But I don't really need this certificate. I want to have my domain certificate. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to delete this. Are you getting me? Are we together? I'm going to delete this and I'll say yes permanently. It's gone. It says no encrypted file system is defined. Are you getting me? So I'm going to minimize now. And I'm going to go back to my group policy settings. My domain controller. I'm going to come to add roles and services. I'm going to click on next. I'm going to click next. I'm going to select my domain controller. I'm going to click on next. It's going to connect now. Then I'm going to select Active Directory Certificate Services. I'll click Add Features. And I'll click Next. Click Next. I'll click Next. Now, it's going to ask me, what do I want to install? I'll say I want to install Certificate Authority. Now, this is called Certificate Enrollment Policy Web Services. This is just a policy. If you click on it, it tells you that this ensures users and computer obtain certificate enrollment policy information even when the computer is not a member of the domain. Why this allows users and computers to enroll and renew their certificate when the computer is not a member of the domain, or if it's a domain joined computer is temporarily outside the security boundaries. So you use web browser to register for certificates. Are we together? So you go to a URL, then you can download the certificate. Then this is now for Certificate Authority Web Enrollment. This provides the interface that allows users to perform requests, renew. So this is like the interface now. These are just the services. Are we together? Then this is for your network services, like routers. If you want to give certificate to routers, remember your POS systems. You want to give certificate to them. That is network. Then this is your online responder. This is the one that will not check whether a client has the right certificate. Are you getting me? Whether the certificate is expired or is what? It has to be renewed. So let's go with the certificate authority for now. I'll click next. For best practice, restart if it's needed, and I'll click install. So the certificate tools is being installed now. Now, this is the first step. When we've installed the CA, the certificate authority, the next step now is to configure. Now, configuration is when we're going to be selecting what type of CA we want it to be. Whether we want it to be whether we want the CA to be standalone or enterprise. But in this case, I'm going to use enterprise because of auto enrollment. Are we together? Because auto enrollment, I want to use enterprise because of auto enrollment. So we'll just wait for the installation to go through. Then when it's done, we can start with the configuration. Just waiting for it to go through. Okay, it's succeeded. You see, configuration is required. So I'm going to click close now. And I'm going to minimize this. Then I'm going to come to the C. That's my certificate authority there. Can you see it? It says configuration is required. So I'm going to come to the notification bar here. I'm just going to delete all this. So I'm going to come here and click configure Active Directory Certificate Authority. So the wizard comes up. So it's going to ask who's going to be the administrator. I'm going to say I'm going to be the administrator, or if I have somebody else, I can come and change the person here as well. Are you getting me? I can browse, change, and I can impute the person's username and password. Are we together? Okay, so I'm just using the default administrator. I'll click next. Then I'm going to select what role. Are you getting? Remember, I only installed the role for certificate authority, right? That's why you can see that it's the only thing activated. I didn't install the rest of them. So I'm going to click next. Then remember, we have standalone and what? So standalone is more of what group or member, right? Enterprise is more of what? Domain. And issue certificate automatically. So we're going to take enterprise. Then, of course, going to ask if it's a root or what? Subordinate. If I say subordinate, are you getting me? Now, if I click next, it's going to ask me to create if I have an existing key. So remember, subordinate meaning I'll have to be talking to what? I have to have a root already in place. But in this case, we don't have a root. We are the first server system, right? So we're going to take a root here, okay? So click next. So we're going to create a private key, a new private key. We don't have an existing key. We'll just take the default. We'll say allow it says allow administrator interaction when the key is accessible by the CA. We'll just click next. So you can change your name of the authority you want to call it, huh? So we just leave the default, okay? So click next. Validation period, how long you want a certificate to last. Now, best practice, you notice that on the internet, certificates are usually 1 year. And every year you have to what? Renew. Okay, so but we'll just take the default for the sake of our practicals. So this is where our certificate database will be. Are we together? So all the certificates we're going to create, they are going to be stored where? On this location, right? So I'm going to click next. And I'm going to configure. So that's my certificates services. So what we have just done now is to configure an Active Directory certificate services. That's what we just configured now. An Active Directory certificate services. Okay, succeeded. I'm going to click close. So now we have a certificate services that has been set up. So I just want to refresh my server just to make sure every change that needs to be done is done. Okay, I'm going to go to my group policy settings here. I'm going to right click on you notice we don't have a policy here. Is that not correct? So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go to my certificate tools. I'm going to go to Active Directory Certificate Authority, which is Certificate Authority. So now we're going to be configuring our certificate authority now. Are we together? Yes. So that's my certificate authority. I'm going to expand it. So you can see it. So I'm going to come in here. You can see revoked certificate, we don't have one. Issued certificate, we don't have one. Can you see? Yes. Certificate templates. So this is the certificate template we're going to be working with later on. Remember, we don't have some certificate that we've issued yet. Are we together? So I'll just leave that to load. These are just a template certificate. Are you getting me? That we're going to be creating later on. Okay. What I'm going to do now, so all these are my certificate templates that I have within my computer system. Are we together? Let me minimize this. Remember, I was already here, right? Now, if you notice here, you see you have your encrypted file system certificate. Is that not correct? Huh? These are already templates. Are you getting me? So right now, I'm going to go to the properties of this certificate. It's going to show me what this certificate is. And it's telling me what this certificate can do. It's a Microsoft Sign certificate, secured certificate, and for certificate authority. So what I can do, I can come in here, go to new. I'll say certificate templates to what? Issue. So I'm going to say I want to issue Where's the EFS? We don't have EFS here. Let's see. Encrypted file system. Okay, I can click just OK. And let's come back. So supposed to issue a new certificate. Let's see. Okay, let me go back to the template. I'm looking for this certificate. I'll right click, I'll say duplicate templates. I'll click on the subject name. I want to leave the name as a CNAME. Security settings. Authenticated users can read. I can say auto enroll for users. Auto enroll means every users who are authenticated will be automatically allowed to enroll on the CA. So I'm going to click apply. I'm going to click on OK. So that's a copy of the CA. And let's see, close. Refresh. So what I'm going to do now, I don't know why this CA is not showing here. Okay, go to the start menu. Go to your start menu, type MMC console. On the search, type MMC. And go to file and add snapping and look for certificates for my account. Okay, that's my certificate there. So I'm going to go to request for new certificates. I'm going to click next. We only have one certificate, Active Directory policy. Okay, I'm going to select administrator, authenticated user, basic user, EFS, and user, show all templates. I'm going to scroll down. Okay, all these templates are not available. Okay, these are the only available policies. I'll click enroll. So it will automatically enroll me. Okay, it's finished. So those are my CA I've enrolled myself on. So if I go back to the certificate authority now, those are the issued certificates now. Okay. Just minimize your MFC console. So those are my certificates I've issued now to my clients. And I made a copy of a CA. Let me go back to manage. I made a copy of, where is it? Where is it? Yeah. So I'm going to click publish certificate in Active Directory. Request handling, enroll certificates, security, authenticated users are allowed. You can read and write. Insurance requirements. No, I don't want to require CA manager for approval. And the server name, it's okay. Request handling is okay. I'm going to click apply. And I'm going to click close. Okay, and I'm going to request for certificate to issue. That's it there. Copy of file recovery. I'm going to click OK. So it's going to be here as well. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to issue this. Okay, I've already issued certificates on EFS, right? Recovery agent, right? Okay, I'm going to delete that. Let's issue a new certificate for web services. Remember, these certificates were default certificates that were already here. These templates were already here by default. Is that not correct? So to see the rest of the templates, you click on the certificate template, you right click and you say what? Manage. Are we together? So what I can do now, I can come in here and look for what certificate do I want to give to my client. Smart card. Is there smart card certificate here? You see smart cards used for users log on, huh? Yes. So I'm going to right click on here and I'm going to duplicate it. General name, the server, the insurance. I don't want an approval. I can call this smart card access. Huh? Okay, I'll leave it for 1 year. Publish in Active Directory. Security settings. Auto enroll. Now, this place you can come and remove users and actually add only the users you want to be enrolled on this certificate. So a user who is not part of this enrollment will not be allowed. Are you getting me? Like for example, I can take out authenticated users. I can say they can read, but they're not allowed to enroll. Administrators, they can enroll and auto enroll. So these only users can only read the certificate, but they cannot what? Enroll. So I'm going to try to use a user account, another user, to actually try to see if he can actually enroll on this certificate. Are we together? So I'm going to click apply. I'm going to click on OK now. Okay, so the smart card is there. So I'm going to close. I'm going to right click. I'm going to say issue certificates. I will say, where's this smart card? Access. I'm going to click OK. Now I'm going to go to my MMC console. I'm going to come to certificates now. Those are your Active Directory certificates we created. So I'm going to come to personal. I'm going to right click. I'm going to say task. I'm going to say request a new certificate. Next. Just a minute. Let's see. Okay. Do you see smart card access is available? So I'm going to select it. I'm going to click enroll. So it's going to enroll me. Okay. The smart card refused to enroll because of the ID on the email. Okay, so the full name, I don't have the correct email address on my computer, so, but that's fine, that's fine. It's not a problem. We can go and also add a web server certificates as well. I don't know, did we issue web server? No. Okay. So let's go to the MMC console, Smart Card Trust. Find certificates. Okay, the certificate is fine, it's fine. Now let's go back to the group policy. Let's refresh. So what I did now was to create a data recovery certificate. Now, if you notice there, when I click create data recovery certificate, you notice that it's no longer issued by administrator. It's now issued by who? MC what? MCSE. Is that not correct? Huh? Yeah, it was issued by MCSE, and the full name when it's expiring, and all the, because it was, I think we put in, if I'm not mistaken, 3 years or 2 years. Okay, so guys, that's how certificate authority can be created within the system. Not too sure why the web server certificate is not showing. Just a minute, because I want to use the web server for the client computers. Just a minute. Okay, let me issue a web server certificate. Okay, copy of web server. Security. Allow for auto enrollment. Allow for enrollment, meaning they can manually enroll. For signature, for encryption, or we can just put it maybe for only encryption, or we can just put it for both signature and encryption. Supersede certificate is if you have any other certificate that is issued before this. So any new certificate, if you put supersede, meaning this is already a certificate, but there's a better one that it's more advanced than this. So you click on add, then you add that certificate. If the certificate is listed, then let's say because of the version, you can add that certificate, then that certificate becomes higher. Are you getting me? Instead of you creating a new certificate. So, but it will remain the same certificate. So anybody that requests for that certificate, the supersede certificate will be the one that will be issued to them. Are you getting me? Yeah, instead of duplicating it. So I'll click apply. Okay, I'll close this. Certificate to issue. Web server. Okay. Okay, let's go to RRS. Let's go to binding websites. Okay, that's for the settings. That's for the IP address. Okay, now if you notice the URL is HTTP. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to try to configure the website. Edit. I don't know why it's not. Let's put 1.1. Yeah, but I wonder why this thing is not changing. Okay, let's go to SSL settings. I was able to edit this yesterday. Yeah. You said? Yeah, it doesn't change the settings. When I'm coming, I don't know why it's not changing. I'm coming. Okay, let me add it. Okay, let me put it on .2. You see my SSL is now here, right? Huh? Do you see it's not here now? Because remember I created the web certificates. Okay, so I can come here and view it. You see the policies are there and it's issued by that particular CA. Because remember I created the web server CA. So I'm going to click OK. Okay, so I'm going to click close. So I'm going to start my website. So whenever a user types 192.168, that's what I'm going to do now. Whenever a user types 192.168.1.1 and press enter, you see it's HTTP. Is that not correct? So let me type .2. Is .2 in my computer?
No, 23.
Is where?
23.
It's 23 that's in my computer. Okay. Oh, okay. So it's not valid. So 22 should be my 22. Oh, 2. Where is 2? Okay, let's see. Okay, let me select mcsc.local. Let me view the certificates. So I'm taking the mcsc.local website. Let's see. So that should, let's see whether it's going to open. Let me close all the browsers I have. Did you see here? It says there's a problem with the website. There's a problem with this website security certificate. Are you seeing it? Of course, it says the security certificate presented by this was issued from a different what? Web address, but it's fine. So we're going to click continue, right? Are we together? We're going to click OK. And let's hope it's going to open. Do you see it has opened, right? You see HTTPS, right? Now if I come here and I click on certificates, you'll see that if I click view certificate, it will show me the certificate of my computer. Can you see it here? The same way you see it online, that's the same way you can see it on the computer there. Are we together? You can actually even install the certificate into your computer, your local machine. Are you getting me? You can install the certificate in your local machine so that every time you open the website, it can retrieve the certificate from your computer as well. For other users cannot request for certificates. Are you getting me? Remember, we are for the other certificate, we only allowed users to only read, but they cannot enroll. Administrators can read, write, enroll. So when an administrator tries to request for the certificate, that list, on the list, it will show. When another user tries to log in and try to request for certificate, the list of certificates that are available for him is the only certificate that will show. The one that is not available will be X. Are we together? That's the reason why you need those certificates for authentication basis. The next thing I want to show you before we stop, it's UPN. How you can log in with a different username by going to the, I'm going to do that now so that you guys can see how it works. You go to tools, you go to Active Directories, Domains and Trust. Do you see Active Directory, Domains and Trust? You click on it. Then you come to the server and you go to Property. Listen, you come to Active Directory, Domains and Trust, which is MCSC, not this domain here. You right click on it and you say Property. Then you see UPN. Toyin, how do you spell your name? Tioni. Toini. Toyin.edu.na. Are you getting me? So I'm going to click apply. I'm going to click what? Okay, so let's go and create an administrator. So I'm going to go to tools, Active Directory, users and computers. I'm going to expand. I'm going to go to users. I'm going to look for an administrator group. Those people who are allowed to log in, enterprise administrator. So I'm going to just create a user here first. I'm going to create a new user. And I'm going to call the user Sam. Call SA. Now you notice by default you only see this red, right? But because we've created Toyin, I will actually see Toyin.edu.na. Remember, it doesn't exist, but I'll be able to use it to log in. So I'll click next. I'll put my password there, which is $WORD. $WORD. I'm going to check this and I'm going to click on users cannot change password. Next. That's it. Then I will come and I'll add Sam to a group called Enterprise Administrators. I'll click OK. So let's go and switch user. Let's switch user. Start menu. Lock account. Switch user. I'm gonna go to machine. Other user. It's Sam, right? At what? To what? TOINI, right? .edu dot what? And so it's PA$WORD. Let's see if it's not going to log in. It's going to actually log in, give me my desktop like any other user. But remember, Toyin.edu.na does not exist. The reason why you have that name, why is my password wrong? It's PA$WORD. Oh, sorry. It's supposed to be essay, right? Sorry, guys. Yeah, that's it. It's going in. You can see essay are towing. That's it. For security purpose. So people don't really know your real domain name. So even the users will be thinking that the server they log into is actually towing.edu.na, but it's actually mcse.local. That's it. I have my desktop. Are we together? Yes. So that is done, eh? Okay, yeah, take care. So guys, that is how to log in into the server. Did the system log me out? Because I never logged out. P. Okay, so that's my desktop computer. So guys, that's all I wanted to show you, how to create the security templates on the Active Directory templates, and how you can add this website. So whenever anybody goes to a web page, 192.168.1.223, it will automatically give them HTTP. We can actually type it now instead of actually writing it. We can type it itself. Click yes, and you notice there's an alert there. Can you see? Because it's not automated, huh? That's why you have the 440. So you need to come and specify it in order for it to go through. You see, you have to specify it, huh? In order for it to go through, because it's not automated. It's not auto run. Doesn't go onto it by default. So you say, no, I understand it. It's fine. Click, and that's it. Of course, it's just saying it's just the address does not complement the 443. Are you getting me? Then, of course, it just tells you to ensure the identity of what? This remote computer accessing it. Are we together? Yes, any other thing that I've missed, guys? Is there any other thing I've missed? Is there anything I promised that I was going to show you guys I've missed? The UPN, make sure you take note of that. That's very important. Understand that. Go and practice it. And log in by yourself so that you can test it and see how it's working. I believe you guys remember the failover clustering. The failover clustering, you still remember that? Oh, I see why it wasn't working. We actually stopped the service. You remember? We actually stopped the service here on the failover network load balancing. We actually stopped the service. Yes, any question, guys? So far of what we have done, or what I promised to show you guys, I've not shown you guys. Is there anything I said I will show you guys that I have not shown? Anything that I have not shown you guys? Okay. There are still some other lab practicals I will still update online. That's for DFS and some other ones I did in 4.13. that will also still upload online. I'm just going to put all those things on the internet tonight, then I just leave them to go through. Okay, guys, we can now call it a day, if you don't mind.